We got some vocab. Hopefully you've heard these words before. Acute, right, obtuse, straight. We'll talk about what those are in a second. An angle in general, it consists of two different rays. So you can make an angle by putting two rays together, so long as they have the same end point. The rays are the sides of the angle. The end point is the vertex. So when we're talking about angles, we have sides and the vertex. The angles with sides AB and AC can be named BAC. So what I want you to notice is that the vertex is the middle letter. It has to be. So when we're naming the angle, the vertex has to go in the middle. The other two can be interchanged, but the vertex has to be in the middle of those three letters. And the vertex is the point, obviously. I'm going to help you out with the first one. The first angle that I see, the biggest angle I see, is angle ABD. Or you could name that angle DBA. They're interchangeable. What stayed the same? Jacob, what stayed the same between those two? The B has to be in the middle. Thank you. Okay. DBC, yep, one of the smaller ones. So angle DBC, you have to put that angle sign in front of it. Just like you have to put the ray sign on top of the two letters or the line sign on top of the two letters. Geometry, we use these letters all the time, but you have to mark it correctly so you know what the heck you're talking about. Maddie, what's another way to say that? CBD. Thank you. Or CBD. What stayed the same, Maddie?
B.
The B, in the middle. It's still the vertex. Okay, I need one more. Raise your hand. Nick?
ABC.
Yep. Angle ABC. Sarah, what's another way to say that?
CBA.
Angle CBA. You have to put that little angle sign in front of it. Acute is less than 90. Right is 90. Obtuse, greater than 90, but less than 180. And straight is 180. Thumbs up. In case you've forgotten, we're going to do a quick review. Remember, there's zeros on both sides. So there's a 0 on the left and a 0 on the right. You can read it either way. If you're going to read from the left, you read the outside. If you're going to read from the right, you read the inside. Okay? Let's find the measures of these angles. Measure of angle WSR. So that would be the one on the farthest to the left. WSR is right here.
60.
What is the measure of that angle? Someone raise your hand and tell me. We're measuring from the left, so from R, we're going to measure WSR. So that would be...
65.
Yeah, I can't see.
Okay, it'd be this one. So we go from the left, and we look on the outer rim. It's kind of hard to tell where it lands, but where do you guys think that is?
65.
Okay, I would say probably 65 degrees. Okay, so 65 degrees. Is that acute, right, obtuse, or straight, guys?
Acute.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to use a different color for the next one. We want TSW. TSW is this one. So T is all the way to the right, so we're going to start from the right this time. And since we're starting from the right, we're going to look at the inner rim here. So start on the right and go to where W is.
115.
115, okay? 115 degrees. Make sure you give it the right notation. What is that?
Obtuse.
Thanks. Let's use green. RST. RST is this big angle here. How many degrees is that? 180. That is what we call a straight angle. And the last one is VST. That would be this one. Since T is on the right, we're going to read from the right and look at the inner rim there. So how many degrees is that? 90, I think, yeah. So what kind of angle is that? If you recall, when we talked about segments, we said that you can only say that the measures are equal. So measures is talking about like the numbers. Let's say the numbers, right? The lengths, not lengths for angles. The numbers, how many degrees it is. But if you're talking about the actual object, they're congruent. So if you're trying to say that angle A is the same as angle B, you have to say angle A is congruent to angle B. Remember, congruent is this one. If you're trying to say that they're equal in measure, then you have to say measure of angle A is equal to the measure of angle B. Please notice what is different about this one besides there's an equal sign. Someone raise your hand if you notice what is different. Joe, what's different?
Angle is in the middle.
Yes. So it's in the middle of what? If you're talking about the measures being equal, you have to use the measure symbol. So this little m means measure. That's important. So if we're talking about measures and you're saying they're equal, you have to use that little m. You can't say angle A is equal to angle B. You have to use the m in front of it to say you're talking about the actual degrees. Really familiar. Angle addition postulate says you can take the two little angles and add them up and you get the bigger angle. So again, same thing we talked about with segments. Part plus part equals a whole. Given that measure of angle GFJ is equal to 155, so when we're talking about GFJ, we're talking about this whole thing. Find measure of angle GFH. So if it helps you to put like a question mark so you remember which one you're finding. And find the measure of HFJ. So this one. So we want to know both of the little ones. We know that the bigger angle is 155. When we add them up, they equal to the whole, the 155. So let's write an equation. The reason we're writing an equation like this for this one is because we're talking about the angle addition postulate. We've not talked about bisecting yet today. We are not using a bisector. This is not a bisector, even though it kind of looks like it could be. We don't know that it's cutting it in half. Don't assume that. Go ahead and solve that equation. We want to simplify, combine like terms, and then solve. This would be 8x. Is that 8x minus 5? Did I do that right? Nope, I didn't. That's a plus. 8x plus 3. If we subtract 3, we get 152. And if we divide by 8, okay, Maddie, what do you got?
19.
X is equal to 19. Are we done with the problem? No, because it said to find the measures of those two angles. Since we put the question mark there, we remembered that. Maybe. It helps me. So now you go back, go to 4x plus 4, and we're going to substitute 19 into that expression, 4x plus 4. So 4 times 19 plus 4. Go ahead and multiply by 19 and then add 4. So 80 degrees. Okay, I need everyone to make sure you're not talking while I'm not talking. while I'm talking. This is an important moment. If you just write 80 degrees, I'm not going to give you full credit. You have to say measure of angle GFH equals 80 degrees. If you do not say that part, the first part, it's not full credit. You have to tell me what's equal to 8 degrees. And what do we get?
75.
75. So we need to say measure of angle HFJ is equal to 75 degrees. Kind of sloppy, but it's there. Box your answer so I can find it. Cut into 2 congruent parts. Do not assume that you have an angle bisector. The only time you know it's an angle bisector is if the angles are marked as such or if it tells you. Just because it looks like it, you can't assume that. And angles do not have midpoints. Okay? So segments have midpoints, but angles have bisecting like rays or lines. The ray VB bisects angle AVC, and we know that the measure of angle AVC is 158. Find the measure of BVC. This problem is real confusing if you don't draw a picture, so let's draw one. Let's start by drawing angle. Draw an angle here, and we've got rays. There should be 3 points on this angle, A, V, and C. Guys, which one is the vertex? V, because it's in the middle. So V you don't have to put a little dot for because it's at the corner. But for A and C, you have to put little points on the rays, like that. So that's AVC. We know that AVC is 158. Okay, we'll use that in a second. It says that VB bisects AVC. So if it's bisecting, we should make sure it looks like it's in the middle. And it's cutting it in half. So this is VB. It's the ray that cuts it in half. Here's how we mark the angle. So when I'm talking about you can't assume that it bisects unless the angles are marked. Here's what you might see. If the angles are marked like this, and they have these 2 little notches like you see, those congruent notches. If you see that, that's how you know that it's an angle bisector, even if it doesn't say it. Just like we see notches on segments. Okay, AVC is 158. Find BVC. So we want that one. Ethan, how are we going to find it? 79? 79. So you need to actually say measure of angle BVC is equal to 79 degrees. Thank you.